Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the SZR Autumn Race Series. We're on race number 10 out on the Astoria Line 8 on the New York course. Pretty cool course to be coming at you today. Now, a little bit of information quick about the SZR Series. It is a Autumn Series running for 13 weeks from September 5th all the way through the 21st of December 2018. 13 races you can do, but 10 of them count toward your series. The winner of the race gets 25 points. From there, it drops down to second for 18, third place 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, and 1, all the way through 10th place. Currently, the series standings are over on ZwiftPower.com. I think we're going to allow my guest today along with us to give us a little bit of information, if he's got it ready, because I didn't prep him at all, and I'm just throwing this at him right now, about where the series is at for the A's and the B category, and maybe the C's and the D's. We'll see. We're going to be covering a little bit of the, mainly the A's, but we also do have the B and the C category lined up a little bit within our broadcast today. We are interacting through Facebook, Twitter, as well as over on Twitch and Mixer. So if you do want to jump into the broadcast, you can do so at any of those places. As usual, we do have social media integration. Greg Leo is along with us, though, today, the Lion. How's it going, Greg? Good to have you with us.
Pretty good, Nathan. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Hi.
About 41 seconds to start of the racing here. Wanted to just throw it at you. How are things looking for the series so far?
Well, I got the A's and B's ready for you. So got 40. So in the A category, we still got 40 in first place, Kuna in second, Kim Little in third, and Gavin Dempster in fourth, Brage Burgang, Matt Looker, and Les Jeffs. That fills out the top. What is that? Seven. Seven is the right number you want. You always want the top seven. That's my take on it. And of those guys, I see 40 Little and Gavin Dempster in there. I think Matt Looker as well. So some of the top contenders are in the race today. And I know Kim Little raced this morning. He was in the dirt draft morning grind fondo. So
yeah,
he's going to have some tired legs.
Race a little bit as we get further into the race today. I want to have a little chat because there's been a little bit of hype around it. It seems like in the past 12 hours or so, well, whatever, how many hours, 6 hours or so that it's been since the race went down. So I'd love to chat about that. But it looks like Kim, right from the get-go, 4.3 watts per kilogram right now, but he did have a little kick to go. If he already raced once this morning, I think the legs will be a little softened up perhaps. With Adrian Timmis in here, we've got, Dempster, you said it's showing up on the day. We've got Truzinski in here. Soren Bay, some big hitters showing up today. You think Kim can pull it off? I mean, that's going to be a double effort. Anybody else in the race that you saw perhaps out there already racing once today? Or is he the only one that's maybe two-time today?
He's the only one that I know for sure. I mean, there are a lot of racers who race multiple times in a day, but I just happened to be in that race this morning and saw him. So yeah, we'll see. The thing about racing twice in a day is you usually have the power for a short time. Like we just saw Kim go off the line pretty hard. What I find is when you're racing a second time during the day, your fatigue just kicks in much faster. So like, I don't think he won't have as many matches as he usually does. And this is a match heavy course. This Astoria 8 line, so many little punchy hills. I think he's gonna regret racing this morning, or maybe he's just after fitness right now. I'm not sure.
Most likely. Well, that's interesting. What kind of maybe he's ramping up for a certain season that is upon us now too. I mean, there is just the reality of people do train specifically for Zwift season. If we want to chat a little bit about that, I mean, it's a whole new world. Like literally, it's a whole new world. Like, because most of the time people will be taking a break right now. Like right now, a lot of the athletes that I coach are like on their winter break. Iceman happened, and usually the first week in November is the final mountain bike race that could kind of be done, and all the road racing is essentially over about a month ago, and so maybe even a little more than that. And cyclocross is really into its season already. So if you're not racing cross, you're in the middle of your break and you're getting ready for your base. Your base is most likely either just getting going or you're looking forward to it in a week or two around Thanksgiving. So it's interesting to see riders are definitely seeming to be putting on intensity miles at this time, more toward what seems to be a indoor season.
Yeah, I think that's for sure. I've seen a lot of people ramping up, getting involved in more and more races, getting that intensity in. I think it is even the people who race outside. Zwift has such a different like fitness requirements, like or the fitness you need to race well on Zwift maybe is a little different than the fitness you need for mountain biking and road racing. And so I think people are now getting to the point where even if they've raced a season outside, they're getting to the point where they want to specialize back into their kind of like Zwift race fitness.
Yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Nobody likes to lose, so I think there's just that basic reality. Nobody likes to lose. I gotta have some fitness for Zwifting, so a little bit of intervals, regardless of what time of year it might be. Kim Little is actually hanging out in the broadcast here. It looks like, and his comments are great. He says that he's peaking for Boxing Day 10. Now, this is like an English thing that I don't understand at all. Boxing Day, like, I guess that's like the day after Christmas or something along around Christmas, where like you put everything away in boxes or something. I don't know. It's weird. They have the strangest names for things. I'll just make sure he's got his scones and keep him happy. But Kim Little is saying that he's peaking for Boxing Day. If somebody wants to help us out in chat about Boxing Day and the history of Boxing Day, please let us know what it's all about, because we would love to know what the heck this thing means. I've come around to the scones and jam. I mean, I'm with him there. It took him about 3 years to get me there, so it might be a little while before we really understand the nature of Boxing Day. But Bergen here, Vikings man, off the front, 5.1 watts per kilogram, 406 watts as you can see here. Bailey Fobs from Team Experimental trying to follow it up. Firestone. This is actually extremely stacked field. It looks like SZR is really heating up, and people are getting excited about this race here. It looks like, Greg. I mean, I think there was a slower start to this series, though. A lot of the riders don't have very many races for how many have gone down. We're on race number 10. Only 3 left after this, and I don't think a whole lot of them have a high number of races to get their total in for their 10.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it right now, and so you'd need 7 right now, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, you need 6 right now, including this race, to get to your 10. If you did every race, including today, until the end, you'd get to 10. If you had 6 going into this one, and in the top 10, only Brage Burgang and Matt Johnson have 6 or more. So 40 doesn't have enough. Jeff doesn't have enough. Kim, Gavin. So basically, all these guys in the top 10 or so. Every race they do is going to count. They're not going to be dropping points at all.
Well, that's really interesting for the point structure, though. That's for sure, not dropping any points, because we just easy math for us. Just add whatever they get.
That's right.
I love that situation as far as the commentary goes. Now it's going to be hard work for them. On the other hand, though, the legs don't really care what the math is so much, as Firestone goes off the front here, 4.6 watts per year. Philip Diner, always a name to be watching out for, probably the strongest rider on Vision Cycling to date right now, and he's hanging out here at the front end of this race, closing things down. Was on the attack, but then followed up on Firestone. Soren Bay from Team Experimental. Fabs is there as well. It does look like Kim Little has 2, maybe more teammates alongside him, at least those 2 up toward the front, so it does look like they've shown up for the party. Race WBR is out here with Matt Looker showing up, looking to make some moves on the front here, 380 watts. MJ there from Team SZ, as well as Gwynvar. Looks like a little bit of a break, though. This is a very different course. Have you raced this course much, Greg?
Yeah, I've been on this one a few times now. This is a super punchy course. I like it better in this direction than in the reverse direction. I mean, it's a little less punchy in this direction than in the reverse direction. But man, these Central Park loops are punchy and hard, especially with a strong group like this. So they're going to be hitting these little hills, and I think we'll see every time they hit it, they're going to ramp it up.
Yeah, if we zoom in here and take a look, you can see that the group is definitely splintered at this point. There was quite the steep kicker there for a moment, and then it was a kind of consistent grind, still grinding to the top of this climb here, 3% gradient now, and it is absolutely stringing things out. We've seen a little bit of a gap between the rest of the pack here. Dempster here at the back from Team Draft, Kim Little sitting in on the back here as well. McDonald is there, Volders and Bailey, it looks like, on the chase with Evos. D. Crispin, ODZ is in there, Hapstadius and Sverhag. It looks like a few of the B riders here trying to jump in on this chase group. Not sure they're going to be able to make it happen. Strzezinski, though, been caught out. Team Poland, it looks like, riding in the B category now, though. Interesting to see. So we do have Erikstead from the Vikings then trying to jump on to that wheel. So a little bit of a category change there for Strzezinski, perhaps losing a little bit of fitness or power over the transition into this Zwift season here. Unless it's a different Strzezinski, but I know he was dominating a little bit, I think, last season.
Yeah, he's a strong rider. It's surprising to me to see him in the B category. I'm not sure. That could be, maybe he's taken a rest day and signed up for the Bs. That's not something I really.
And we've just got to double up on the last name there as well. Don't want to make too many assumptions, but definitely a familiar rider there from Team Poland. If it is the same one, I would think, Greg. So looking through here, my mic gain, Charlie, I'll be on the my mic gain. Sorry, I do tend to step away a little bit away from it once in a while, so we'll definitely bring it up just a tad for you. If I am getting a little bit quiet, I may have turned Greg up a little bit too much as well. So we didn't do too much equalization, EQing before the broadcast, as we just jumped right on into it. I just threw Greg into the deep end. It was like, hey, what's up, Greg? Ready to go? Okay, cool. Play. We push play. So I appreciate the feedback there very much, though. Looking toward the front end of the group, though, it looks like it's fairly calm. It seems like that's the main place out on this course. Zwift Insider has a great map, actually, that they've put together over there on this course, and it looks like each lap on that, I want to call it I'm not sure on the directions. Is it north, south, east, west? I want to say it's the east end of the course. There is that long climb and a couple of punchers otherwise, but I think that's the main the main uphill grind, the main point of contention for the riders out on course today, I believe, Greg.
Yeah, there's a little uphill when you get to the start finish line. So this direction has a fun finish because you come downhill, you get to a bunch of speed, and then there's a kicker up through the finish line. So that definitely is something that hurts, it kind of like hurts your legs every lap. Riders take the opportunity to kind of push it there, but it kind of makes the sprint tactics a little different than usual. I think we'll see a long sprint here. This is a course that really favors a sprinter who has like a really high 1 minute power. Someone who can do 10 watts per kilogram for 1 minute is going to kind of fare pretty well, I think, today. By the way, on Trzynski, it is Peter Trzynski. He's in the race, so I think some maybe miscategorization, or he's taking an easy day. I'm not sure what the story is there.
I did see a little comments coming on through from Quentin Mueller. St. Peter has been mid 3 to 4 watts per kilogram since June, perhaps coming back from injury. So looking through a couple more of the chats here. It's great to see everybody jumping in. Lots and lots of chat, actually. Make sure to watch out. There is a couple of new features on our Facebook page now. You can clip parts of the race now at the bottom of the screen. You can clip certain parts of the broadcast, as well as we're able to make polls now. So be watching out for those polls as we do make them throughout the broadcast here. So a couple of new features that are pretty cool with the new Facebook gaming and streaming platform that they're growing. Pretty cool thing over there on the face of the book here. Diner here with Zimmerman. We do have a couple of national champions, obviously, out here today. Adam Zimmerman jumping in. Haven't seen Adam in any of the races recently. What's happening with Team Draft right now? Being from Team Draft, Greg, we do see McQuaid in there. We're seeing, it looks like, Zimmerman. We've also got, I believe, Dempster in there, as we mentioned earlier. Team Draft showing up in force today for this race. SZR, a little bit of a focus, it seems like.
Yeah, this morning, we had our dirt draft race. So some of the guys, are kind of tired from that and not racing here. But this is a good time of day for the U.S. riders and for Gavin, who's a Scottish rider. So this is a good time. Attracts a few riders, and we always like to get together and race together. So if someone says, I'm going to try this SZR, people will jump in with them.
Yeah,
And
right on.
on the top, on Adam, he's kind of coming from the mountain season. He's in that transition period as well, kind of getting his Zwift legs back. So we'll see how he does today. He's got a good 1 minute power. He could fare well. Same with Gavin Dempster, and yeah, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, both of them being finalists on opposite sides of the pond. Dempster at the EU finals for the Kiss Crit series, and then Adam Zimmerman, obviously a finalist over in North America here. So Bergen here from the Vikings now, as you can see, now making his way to the front. A small group immediately, actually, it looks like. That initial climb that we saw definitely broke things apart, and we've got all the big hitters, it looks like, showing up at the front end. 40 here, I believe series leader, as you had said earlier, sitting pretty in here. His consistency, though, in the series, that's going to be my question, as we do have so many riders starting to fight, it looks like, for this overall lead. What's the consistency been like so far is the question, I think, and is he going to be able to hold on to this lead as we head into the final three, well, four including today, but the final three races? Looking at the results in this league, does it seem that he might have his work cut out for him? I mean, 25 points is a pretty big, I mean, that's a huge amount of points difference between first and second place. Second place getting 18 points. Kim Little on the rise here. It looks like 55 points total. Jeff Kuna riding for Mod Roa. Unfamiliar with that team, actually, but 67 points total. 40 with that 93. He's got 3 wins, so super consistent. And a second place. But with Dempster in there, as we were saying earlier, as well as Kim Little, both around that 50 points, if they just take one win, that's going to put them all the way up into that 80, right on the heels of 40 there. And they may be able to catch up, but it's going to come right down to the line, I think, if they, it's going to come right down to it. If they just, but they have to win all the way through. It's going to have to be first or second all the way till that final race, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, and like we said before, all of these guys are going to be counting every race they do from now on. So, if 40 is racing, in order for, Jeff or Kim or Gavin to really gain on them on 40, he's going to have to do poorly in a race or miss a race, and they're going to have to do well. I mean, for Jeff to pick up 25 points, it would have to be in one race. It would have to be 40 doesn't show up and Jeff wins that race. That would be a swing of 25 points. But if 40 is showing up and is being as consistent as he has with 18.6 points per race he's done, I think it's going to be some tough work for Jeff or Kim, Gavin, anyone to catch him at this point.
Yeah, 100%. Now, LMH, do you have any? I have no clue who LMH is. This is a rider that you're familiar with, coming from Team Experimental, actually. And I've been fairly familiar with the world of Team Experimental for quite a long time. He's got ZHR in his name. That's some, is that some old school racing in his, I mean, how long has it been since he's signed in is my question, but LMH, I'm going to try and figure out who, the rider is here. I'm over on Lars. Okay, Lars. It's been a long time since I've seen Lars online here, but Lars here actually up toward the front end of this race on the attack on that climb there. It looks like Diner here keeping it steady at 4.7, believing in the chase of the pack here. Diner looks like going to be able to bring that back with a little bit of assistance here from Team SZ. Trzynski there as well from Team Poland. Kalen making his way to the front. KRT having a couple in here. Vang, it looks like, as well as Kalen, both working together, making their presence known suddenly. Didn't actually notice them until this moment here. Kalen hanging out on that coveted Cervelo S5 with the full disc in the full dish in the back here. So letting everybody know he's been around for quite a long time here. Vang here, 4.5 watts per kilogram. Letting Kalen go. Actually, it looks like it was a launch off the front there for Kalen. And these two off the front together might be a threat.
Yeah, at first I thought maybe Kalen was working for a KRT rider, but I don't see any other KRT riders in here. So I think he was trying to shut down this gap and maybe try to work with Lars. Yeah, I don't see. But where is he now? So he's only hanging out a second off the group. Yeah, it looks like Lars is just holding this gap at 5 seconds. So he didn't quite make it across there.
182 beats per minute. It looks like Team Experimental, 5.5 watts per kilogram. I'm not sure he's going to be able to hold on. This is going to be quite an effort if he does 7.2. This is the way to do it, though, right? I mean, Greg, maybe a little bit of explanation, like how do you make a break happen, and how as far as team draft goes, and you're part of a team that works together a lot. I would, and what have you seen being most successful?
Yeah, there's a few ways to do it. There are like really two ways I think that work well on Swift. There are probably other ways as well. If you're trying to get teammates in a break together, one obvious way to do it would just be attack at the exact same time and attack really hard and just pull away. Now, one thing about that is it's always when you see two teammates go up the road, it's always going to elicit a quick response from riders because two draft riders, two X riders going away, that's a threat because they're going to cooperate when they're off the front. But if you can catch the group off guard when they're going slow and get two or more teammates to attack at the same time, maybe if you're on Discord or something like that, that's one way to establish it. I think the other way is to let one rider go up front, kind of like Lars is doing now, and then later on, once a gap has been established, maybe when it gets to 10 seconds, have your second rider attack across the gap as hard as they can. And if they can make it across, then you've established the gap, and you can try to make it work. I see those are really the two ways to sort of establish a gap between teammates, and the same thing goes for establishing gap between teams as well. People attacking at this happen to attack at the same time, like we see Jim and Diner doing here, or having someone attack across the gap is a good way to sort of like establish a small break.
Yeah, we were saying earlier, this seems to be the section of the course here on this, I guess we'll call it the north end, since it looks like it is kind of the north end of the map, although the map does fluctuate where it's going here a little bit here and there. But it does look like Dempster, McQuaid, and Diner, knowing that 8% gradient is going to favor big attacks here as they do take this right-hand sweeping turn. It looks like they do have a little bit of break taking place, or at least a little bit of the elastic starting to snap. We do see Bay here, Danish national champion as well. So 3 national champions actually hanging out in and amongst the group here. And it looks like a group of riders starting to snap off the back here, with Trzynski just barely hanging on there. An ODZ rider is there as well. And Johnson, it is Matt Johnson just barely hanging on. Trzynski, Ericsson here, as you can see, but it's going to be Pinto here from TTU, as well as Ooms, and then it will be McDonald and C. King, as well as Jay Storm from the WBR team. They're all falling off the back here. Now, I'm not sure this is going to come back. They could, if somebody puts in a big enough dig, that 5 seconds could come back. But at 34 miles per hour here, let's see what kind of speeds that the front runners are going at. Only 31 that I can see here. Ooms may be able to bring this back 4.4, but I'm seeing 6 watts per kilogram now from them on this climb here. Again, another 8% gradient. And McQuaid toward the front here, well, at least trying to make his way toward the front. It looks like Grabarczyk, I can never get this name correctly here. Grabarczyk, I'm going to say, coming from Poland here. Trzynski, and then McQuaid toward the front. Timmins is in here as well, ex-professional rider, World Tour from back in the day. Diner leading things out, though, for the Vision Colors now. Young from Innovation showing up again. Now, yesterday, Young said that he has the flu. I'm not sure that this is the best recovery, the best doctor's orders here. Just keep racing Zwift and you'll get better, but we'll see if it ends up working out for him here. Does have a 2-second gap, it looks like, Diner and Dempster. This could work if they can keep it, though. It's always the struggle, though, trying to hold on to 6 watts per kilogram to hold on to those 1 or 2 seconds before they give up behind. And it looks like there's enough team members of other teams, with the motivation to close things down here. What do you think, Greg? They're probably not going to stick, it looks like here. Maybe we could see a counter, though, but a lot of times you don't. There's moments where I would expect a counter and you just don't see them. And is it because everybody's just burnt? I mean, 185 beats per minute, these attacks are so incredibly difficult on even everybody in the pack. There's just nothing left in the legs.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of just being tired, like you say. There's just not that many riders who are going to be able to counter at this point, to have the fitness to do it, and also just how rare it is for a single rider to stay away, or even a small break to stay away on a course like this, a fast course like this with the standard drafting algorithm. I think it's just a matter of incentives and also just the fitness to be able to do it.
Yeah, I think that's hugely when it comes to the incentive part. But I mean, I would attack left and right if I could, but a lot of times, I think there just isn't that there. And also trying to just play it smart, knowing it's a punchy course, but of course it's difficult to
Mm.
stay away on. And like you said, the incentive might not be there. Now we do see Diner making his way to the front again, 6.9 watts per kilogram. 40 now making himself known. The series leader is here now, 7.4 watts per kilogram coming from him. And after going through three punchy sections of the course here, as you can see, and as they head away from that section, this may be the one that does stick. If they, a lot of those riders were already up in those 180s, 170 beats per minute, up and over the top of their threshold. Looks like they might be able to start get a gap going here. It's 2 seconds. Everybody's within a line still here. There's still a draft, but it looks like they might be getting a couple of riders in a little bit of bother here. 4 seconds off the back, it is going to be Bergen and a few others. Looks like falling off, and that's a big name to be falling off the back here, Greg.
Yeah. Yeah, what did Bergen's in sixth place overall? No, fifth place overall. So this is surprising to see. And I really think this is the purpose of all these attacks that we're seeing. I'm not sure these guys are really trying to get away. I think they're trying to do this. I think they're trying to get the group smaller, soften up people's legs. I think it's, the riders who know they have the fitness, utilizing that to try and soften up some of the sprinters, for the end. One person that I want to see is Matt Looker in here. He'd be one person that I'd be looking at in the sprint. And if they, no, I see him. Yeah, I saw the Isle of Man flag. So, he's one person that I think if he's in there at the end, he's going to be a threat.
We were getting a couple of comments there coming through about being able to see some of the standings as we do talk about them. And, there's a couple of ways that we can do that just for the likes. I believe, who is it that made that request? And I was actually thinking about that this morning. There are ways for us to make it a little bit prettier and bring in the standings to our graphics themselves. We have done that in the past. We just haven't set it up for this specific broadcast. But Brian Schotten, I appreciate the comment there. And just for you, we're going to bring in at least a little bit of something here so that you can see where things do stand for the overalls right now. It does look like we've got right here for you. Current standings are going to be 40 there, 93 points. Jeff Kuhn is there as well. Kim Little, Gavin Dempster, Bragg Bergen, as we were saying just a couple of minutes ago. Matt Johnson and Matt Looker there, 7th place, tied with Les Jeffs. Now we were just talking about Matt Looker. You're thinking that perhaps he's somebody to be watching out for there. 3 races in and a third, no wins so far. Maybe a couple of these riders in the top tiers right now. Bragg Bergen maybe still looking for a win. He's gotten a second. It looks like 6 races total. With 6 races there, he's got some points, but he's gonna have to make up a lot on each one of those. It looks like having not very high placing though, besides those 2, if he's only sitting at about 50 points overall. But as you can see, 40 absolutely dominating so far. Very smart rider. And as he starts to make his way to the front end of this race here, I think we're going to have to watch out for whether or not he wants to try and get away as a strong TT rider as well, Greg.
Yeah, one thing I notice on about 40 is I'm looking at the live results over on Swift Power, and there's this new rest work feature. And of all the guys in the top 15, this group of 15 or so, he's done the most resting, it looks like. So he's been sitting in the most. I think he at this point has pretty fresh legs. He's also got one of the
on the live they have a new rest work feature. I gotta check this out.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it means, but he's got one of the biggest bars. So
he's got. Oh, I see. Okay, so the green there, power 6% above average. It's saying they're 5%. This is interesting. That is a super interesting graphic, actually. We'll try and bring that one in as well here. We're gonna need to integrate these into our graphics so it doesn't just look like a browser source. But pretty cool new graphics here coming, or at least pretty cool new features here coming at us from ZwiftPower.com, and we're gonna have to check out this new rest work feature. Actually, I can actually interact with the browser live here. If you guys haven't seen what ZwiftPower.com is, that is the place for all of the results for these races. Actually, coming at you live. It's a pretty cool website that does manage most of all or everything that is Zwift racing. All you have to do to hook up with it is go over to your Zwift.com, go over to Zwift.com, log in, and then connect the background API with it. So this is the live results that are currently coming through. As you can see, Bragg Bergen, Les Jeffs. You can see the current distance as well as the average watts per kilogram. As you can see, we've also got this new rest work feature that we were talking about. Is really, really interesting to see. You don't see the green bar. Well, the 40's green bar has actually gone away now at this point, but it was definitely pretty high up. There it is. So now 4.8 watts per kilogram into the green still. It's an interesting, I'm not sure exactly what it means. Maybe we can get an explanation there from James Hodges about what that green bar is representing. And he's the only one with a green bar. Why does he have a special green bar? Is that like a feather power up or something? What's going on with the green there, James? So Firestone now on the attack, looks like. Waldemar here as well. Diner still in amongst it. Bay is there. Truzinski and then Bergen. All together still. We keep on saying these names. They are not going anywhere just yet. They're on the attack over and over ago. Dempster just hanging on in the back here, actually. It looks like they were able to make this stick over the top of Kalen and a few others, though. Off the back, actually. Tomo Kalen, one of the stronger riders that we know of here. Christian is there as well, coming from France. So Dempster 41 seconds up, as we can see, with the rest of the pack. And Kim Little and Dempster seem to be marking each other here today, Greg. I have a feeling they're definitely thinking about who is going to be the threat. If we were looking at the results earlier, you know exactly why, as they are currently sitting in fourth and third place overall. So definitely marking each other. Only a 4-point difference. Maybe they're just racing each other on the day.
Yeah, I think it could be that Kim won the dirt draft race this morning, and so it could be that Team Draft is trying to exact their revenge at this point. And
it's good stuff. Good stuff. Let's go ahead and throw down a poll actually out here today. Out here, I'm gonna put have a couple of predictions. I'm throwing Dempster as well as Kim on to that poll. Go. What would you have? I need two selections from you on the who will win situation here. I know it's a little bit early yet, but because we are watching these two fight a little bit against each other, we see another attack here actually coming through. McQuaid from Team Draft, maybe upsetting a little bit my prediction that Dempster's going to be a part of things, but I think that Dempster being in fourth overall, and we're seeing Kim Little there in third overall. I have a feeling that they're going to be battling each other. Any predictions from you? What do you think? Top two picks for the win out there today.
Well, I think, other than Dempster and Zimmerman, who I think I'm sort of barred from predicting might win, I think, 40's consistency has to be considered here. I don't know a lot about 40's power profile. I'm just going to go ahead and look over on Zwift Power. I'm looking at the 1 minute power. It looks like 40's more of a TT style guy. The kind of rider I'm looking for here is someone who's got 9s and 10s for that 1 minute power. Could be someone like Matt Johnson, who I'm a big fan of. But I think my prediction at this point has got to be Matt Looker.
Matt Looker. All right, so Diner gets left out. I was thinking I should have thrown Diner in there, and I have a feeling I'm going to be kicking myself in the butt here. And that is not a Vision Cycling. That is not a Vision Cycling affiliation thing at all, you guys. Diner's just crazy strong. I'd be watching out for him, but I'm going to leave it as is. I wish we could only do 4 options actually in our polls. If we could do more, I would throw it in there. But the poll is up right now. Who's going to win out of the 4 that we selected there? Little, Dempster, Looker, or 40 for the win out there today. I'm going to be, I'm having a hard time who I'm going to be voting for. We've got 50%, 67% on Little, actually. Looker getting 20% now at this point. 40 there, 20%. Kim Little there holding down with a solid 43%. And it's all over the place there, actually. Looker now jumping up to 20. Lots of people voting now at this point. Make sure to get your vote in. Let it be known who you think is going to win. Now Dempster's starting to pick it up a little bit. It looks like Team Draft showing up in the chat as well. We're commentating the poll as it comes on through here. But Matt Johnson toward the front here. ODZ, maybe somebody who has been overlooked in the polls. He is definitely a strong sprinter when it comes down to it. Will he be softened too much up too much from the climbs out there today? This pack has been annihilated. I mean, we had at least 40 plus at one point, and it is pretty small at this point. Only the big hitters able to make it so far, it seems like. And I'm looking at maybe 20 riders here or so.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. And looking over at just the live results, the power they've had to put out, some of these guys are at like 4.8 average for this race so far. So this has not been an easy race. I mean, it's clear to me why this has broken up a little bit. It looks like almost everyone is in 4.4, 4.5. Some guys up at 4.8, including Diner, Adrian Timmis, who's an excellent TT rider. So this hasn't been easy. I'm not surprised it's gotten to be such a small group.
So if you are watching on a PC, in order to get the poll, you do have to scroll over it in the upper right-hand corner, and you'll be able to vote there. If you are watching on a mobile device, it should just pop up at the bottom of your mobile device. I'm going to go ahead and bring it up on mine and do my voting here on my phone, as it should. It should just pop up just like that at the bottom of the screen. But on the if you are watching on a PC, it will be on the upper right hand corner of the broadcast itself. You have to scroll over the top of it. So not the I think they tried to make it, Facebook tried to make it so obvious that it was like, where is this thing? Because it's just a part of the broadcast itself, actually. So it can be a little more difficult to find at times. Weird it didn't pop up. Sorry, Claudia. That's too bad. And we'll maybe see if we'll do another poll and see if it does come up. It is, I believe, a newer feature, so perhaps they are still working out a few bugs. We do have Diner here at the front, though, as we get done with one of our polls here. 8.5 watts per kilogram from him. Does have a 1 second gap, actually. And this was not a part of predictions. Maybe we put a little bit of motivation in the legs there that he wants to let us know that we should have. As 40 is now following that up, though, one of the predictions for sure that was out there, and current series leader Adrian Timmins following up. Drzinski there, 8.4 watts per kilogram. Zimmerman seen it as a threat, it looks like here. Team Draft is on top of this. Soren Bay from Team Experimental. Les Jeffs is there, currently sitting in 7th place overall in the series there. Waldemar here from Team Poland, or at least coming out of Poland, and then his fellow countryman, not sure if his fellow teammate there, now toward the back of this strung out line of riders just trying to hold on to the wheels in front of him. Team Experimental playing it pretty calm with Kim Little making his way forward, but Dempster being caught out. 27% of the vote going to Dempster here, caught out of the pack, and with a 4 second gap now, Draft here now only having Zimmerman left in the pack. Zimmerman now making his way to the back of the pack, maybe looking to assist his teammate, but he can't risk it, I don't think, at this point, Greg. If he goes backwards at this point with the kind of speeds we're seeing from this pack, knowing that Dempster, one of the biggest threats in this race, is off the back, I don't think anybody at the front is going to be willing to slow down at this point. 8 watts per kilogram. They're going to be thinking about nothing but dropping him right now.
Yeah, and they're hitting this hill hard, so it's not looking good for Dempster at this point. He's such a strong rider. That's surprising to me. I wonder if there was a dropout or something, or he's just a little bit fatigued. I would definitely expect him in this race. But actually, Draft still has 2 in here because Jim McQuaid is still in this group. And actually, Gavin's holding on pretty well. He's 11 seconds back now. So
I think that's just the course change. Yeah. That's the course change. So now it's back down to 5. We'll see, though. He would have to close it down right there at that moment, though, because the hill is such an assistance. Now the speeds, though, it's as they go downhill here with the speeds of the group out to 8, 9 seconds. Dempster 5.4 watts per kilogram. What a heart, though. I mean, he is not giving up. MJ's off the back here. Bergen is off the back as well. Bergen currently sitting in, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5th place overall in the series. Dempster is well in 4th place in the series, 4th and 5th in the series, off the back right now, as you can see. This is super interesting. Maybe going to be able to work together perhaps, but no, as you can see here, Dempster now, it looks like, not going to be coming back to the wheel. 7 seconds. holding on really steadily here. 6.4 watts per kilogram. Will he make it back? That's the big prediction now. Let's make a poll. Will Dempster become back to the pack or not? That's the next poll out here. I mean, this is going to be a Herculean effort if he does make this happen. Absolutely. He might do it, though. We're seeing 6.2 watts per kilogram. Zimmerman, though, making his way forward and not actually trying to attack or anything, just following the moves. But what a heart here on Dempster here. Still 5.2 watts per kilogram, but now backing out to 4.5. At a certain point, there's just nothing left in the tank, as you can see.
Yeah. It kind of makes me think maybe there was a dropout, because he was holding 6+ watts per kilogram there for a while. And I wouldn't imagine a rider who had been kind of like off the back because they just couldn't hold the pace would be able to do that after getting gapped. But sometimes being off the back of the pack does something special to you. It gives you that shot of adrenaline that allows you to try and TT back. It's the worst feeling. I mean, just seeing that group slowly crawl away is just the worst.
As I just made the poll, will Dempster come back? And now I'm seeing 0 watts per kilogram, though. I think it's a big nay. It's too bad to see. I thought for sure he was going to be able to hold on to the watts there. But, I mean, that was a gigantic effort there. 7 watts per kilogram, 6 watts per kilogram, trying to come back there. I think he might have just got caught out. Maybe there was a dropout. Maybe we'll see a comment there in the coming from Dempster if he does jump into the broadcast here to let us know exactly what took place, or perhaps there's a little chatter in the and with all of this, looking at the back of the pack there with Dempster falling off, we didn't catch Diner's escape from the group, actually out to 12 seconds. This is a real threat. 15 seconds. I always call 15 seconds the threat point, the point at which that might be serious enough to stick here. 6.4 watts per kilogram, 6.5. This is pretty intense, actually, coming from him. 185 on a serious pusher off the front. 436 watts, as we can see. Power profiles coming from the likes of Diner here. I think that's what is going through Greg Leal's head at this point. What kind of efforts can he hold on to for this amount of time here, up in that 6.2 watts per kilogram for the German rider right now? McQuaid here trying to follow that up and chase that down. 13 seconds. Now, this is where you get that rubber band effect. It goes out to a threatening point, and then they're able to bring it back. And that's why I say the 15 to 20 is the dangerous point, because usually they close it down either completely or within about 5 seconds, and then all of the firepower goes out. Everybody who had a match to make the chase is done chasing, and then they're able to get away again. There's always kind of this ebb and flow of a break that sticks. But he's solo. No one to work with, Greg. I'm not sure it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, the way I can see this coming back is you do have some teams in here. So you got Team X has 2, Team Poland has 2, Draft has 2. The way I see this coming back is if those teams can get a little bit organized, and that looks like what's going on here now. You got Team X has 3. They have Bay, Fabes, and Kim Little. So I imagine we got Fabes and Soren Bay are going to be working to pull back Diner at this point. And that seems to be what's going on. But Diner can definitely TT, especially in like the 5-10 minute range. I see a lot of 6+ watt per kilogram critical power numbers for him over on Swift Power for 5 minutes. So this is a threat, and I think the teams know it. So we see Jim McQuaid, Team X. I saw Team Poland up there a little bit. Now it's down to 4 seconds. So they got their organization done, and I think this is going to come back now.
Now, if he had just one rider with him, maybe a rider could jump across right now, make something happen. Doesn't look like that's going to be going down, though. And Firestone closing it down right alongside Kim Little. Team Experimental, it looks like, really on top of things today. Kim Little, as you can see here, leading things out for the chase. Maybe working for Soren Bay, the Danish national champion here. Zimmerman still in here for Draft, it looks like. Fabes off the back, actually, just falling off with that chase action. We'll give him a ride on, but 5 seconds. seconds. And this is crazy. This must be an insane pace right now. Now in a counterattack, though, going off the front, as we can see, 40, the series leader, taking the reins now immediately after Diner is caught. McQuaid's knowing that this is a serious threat with 40 going off the front. Kim Little trying to follow it up here. This may be for the win at this point, actually. I'm not exactly sure on the total distance for the race today. It says 34 kilometers. I think we are coming into the final here, actually, Greg, if I'm not incorrect.
Yeah, we got about 2 kilometers to go at this point. So what's going to happen is they'll take a little left-hand turn. Once they do that, that'll be sort of game time. That's when you know there's about 1 kilometer to go. So that's going to be coming up pretty soon. And then they have the little downhill. I think that's where we'll see the long attacks, the long sprint to start to happen. And then the final sprint is a little uphill. So it's kind of a blind sprint. But I think we're going to see this one go long. I think we're going to see 45-second sprint in this one.
We did see 40 trying to sneak away a little bit there, it seemed like, and just kind of fade away off the front, get enough time to maybe be able to hold on, maybe not having the kind of kick that will be needed to take down the W out here today. 40, though, as we can see, 3.4 watts per kilogram. McQuaid now 1 second difference here. Things a little bit split up, actually. Kim Little here now following up, it looks like, looking to try and take down the win. Now, he did win the poll. We'll see if chat was correct on that. Already racing once today. Will Kim Little be able to time this correctly? Adam Zimmerman still in amongst the pack here. McQuaid is there. Adrian Timmis now 7.5 watts per kilogram coming from him. Going to be interesting. Zimmerman starting to go 8.4 watts per kilogram from him. And we're going to go ahead and zoom in on the race actually here and catch all of the action for our viewers now. And it looks like Looker now making his way to the front. That was a prediction from you, Greg, that Looker might be an issue out here today. Now up and over the top of that little bit of a climb, negative 2% grade, as you can see, 2.7 watts per kilogram from Diner. Everybody fairly calm, just trying to position at this point. And as you were saying, what is the smartest tactic, though? That's my question for the win out here today. What have you seen win most often? Coming around this left-hand turn, you're saying going from way out is going to win it. The timing, though, it's on that uphill. It's all about taking the speed, I would think, to the bottom of that climb.
Yeah, I think at this point, people don't know this sprint that well, and going a little bit early can kind of catch people off. They don't realize the finish line is coming so soon. And so I've seen that be pretty successful right now in racing. Whether that's going to be successful long term, I'm not sure. So this is where they take that little left turn, and now it's going to be definitely game time. You already see riders starting to go.
Full on. Firestone actually catching them out pretty well, actually. An immediate 2-second gap coming from Firestone. Now just even going down to 4 watts per kilogram, looking for a little bit of a rest, it looked like, and kicking again on this little bit of an uphill. Zimmerman with 17 watts per kilogram. Adam Zimmerman absolutely walking away from the rest of the pack. They're not even within sight any longer. I think he got removed. Steve Young then is going to be the one across the line with Kim Little, and we're going to have, I think we're going to have, you missed your pro car, your pro calling coming from Zwift there with the full-on removal. It looked like from the game momentarily there. Zimmerman breaking the game, it looks like here, and we'll see if we can get him reinstated. But that was an interesting situation because either he got removed, or he had a dropout right at that moment. That would be the question. Perhaps there was a dropout right at that moment, or perhaps, like he was going so incredibly hard, he just knocked over everything in his room or something. I mean, that could be a reality of what happened. What I've seen before from that situation is usually you see the cone, though. Usually when you're watching, you see the cone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know what it was. And, actually the thing about the cone is it'll allow you to keep riding. So we've had what I'm calling cone gate recently. I've had a little bit of experience with the cone. I actually got it in the KISS race the other day, and I was actually able to stay in the race and keep riding and finish the race. But I think what it does is it changes your weight or deducts some power. So if you get the cone right at the finish line, you're still going to show up in Zwift power. Your segment is not going to count anymore. Like Zwift isn't going to count any segments anymore, but you will be in the final results. So I think even if Adam did get a cone here, I would expect to see him in the final results. But also, this wasn't a double draft. So I I don't see this being a cone situation. I don't think they were going quite fast enough to trip that.
Okay, gotcha. So let's take a quick look at exactly what went down here in the replay. Here we are seeing Firestone with the first kick, as you can see, up into that 14 watts per kilogram. There's Zimmerman with 17 watts per kilogram, absolutely demolishing. I mean, just walking away from everybody. He's already got a 2-second gap on everyone. Storm Bay trying to follow that up there, and then all of a sudden, it's just like the second dimension or the fifth dimension kicks in and he is gone. Immediately goes back to Steve Young for us, and Steve Young shows us why he's called the Python here, to the front with 18 watts per kilogram, timing things perfectly there. Zimmerman may have still got the W. We'll have to take a look at SwiftPower.com or what's happening with the results there. He did, I believe, maybe he just dropped out completely and didn't cross the finish line. Let us know if you do hear from him there, but I do believe it was Kim Little was the next one across the line there. Let's go ahead and back it up here real quick and see where things were at for those that came across the line next. Yep, Kim Little looks like followed up by Soren Bay. We're the next ones across the line, and then it would be Diner in fourth place there, actually. So good predictions actually all across. It looked like with, well, at least for Kim Little coming in for a podium there. Interesting to see so a few new names, though, at the front end of the pack there, with Young and Zimmerman jumping across with some new, just some new blood at the front end of the race there. Claudia Barron saying that's weird. Now it seems like lots of people belong in the cone class. He finished Zimmerman 70 seconds back. Big dropout. Got it. So James is letting us know that he finished, and it's sad. Too bad. I mean, he was, meters from the line. Just a couple of meters to go, and boom, a huge dropout coming from his trainer. It looks like they're communicating to the game. Now, but here's the thing, even if the trainer drops out, there should still be the avatar moving forward. So it must have actually been an internet. It must have been actually an ISP dropout altogether. For him to disappear like that, your ISP has to say you are no longer there, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong there, though, chat, but I believe that was most likely what happened. What must have happened there. Where did Looker finish? We're looking to. Let's go ahead and get some actual results up on the broadcast here, as people are asking for some updates on how things played out in the race. And now that we do have a few new browser sources here we can bring into the broadcast actually here, we are seeing, it looks like, I'm not sure that's going to be big enough for everybody to read. Steve Young there at the top. Kim Little followed by Soren Bay. Philip Diner. Matt Looker does take down fifth place, actually. So a solid result there for him with the 4.6 watts per kilogram. Looks like Soren and Diner both over that 5 watts per kilogram. Do have Zada badges, though. So, but man, talk about a crazy fast race out there today. I'd love to know what these rest work graphs are all about. Up into the red there, I'm assuming that this is a crazy hard effort there for Martin Firestone. As you can see, this is your top 10, 11 riders here for today in the SZR Autumn Race Series number 10. So solid result here. Mark Waldemar here for Team PL, 6th place. It looks like Matt Johnson from ODZ, 7th. Jim McQuaid looks like following it up there in 8th. Man, and all that work, it looks like you guys were setting up perfectly there from Team Draft for Adam Zimmerman, actually. McQuaid there taking that 8th place, I believe it was. Yeah, 8th place it was, with Adrian Timmis right behind him. But, if you hear anything from Adam, let us know. We'd love to hear what went down.
Yeah, so I actually just talked to him. He said his phone did an update. Like right at that last moment, his phone decided to do an update. That's just crazy bad timing.
Oh my gosh. So right at that moment, the update comes through. Make sure that all of your updates are turned off when you're racing on your. So he was actually racing on his phone.
Yeah, he races on his he races on iOS with like a video output to his TV. So yeah, one of the few people I know that actually do that. It can cause a little bit of trouble. You get a call, something like this happens. It's a little bit less of a stable setup, I think, than just doing it on like a dedicated computer.
Yeah, a little bit less expensive, though, if you already have the phone set up, though, that's for sure. Philip Diner hanging out here saying, Adrian Timmons, I try not to hate it. We need longer climbs. Diner being definitely one of the stronger climbers out there. And, the other courses that do go onto the rainbow roads, that I like to call them, tend to be a little bit better for the climbers. Once in a while, we do head on over to theirs. But the crit racing seems to be the most popular, Greg, out there. And that's something we should chat about a little bit. We will be talking about all things racing, I think, sometime next week. We announced it yesterday, looking to be doing some live in the Pens podcasting here. Is that right, Greg?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Adam and I had tried some live shows, and it's just a lot of fun to do the podcast live, get some feedback from the community, ask some questions, get feedback. So, next week I think you and I'll set up a time and we'll get some live in the Pens going here. We'll talk racing, talk double draft, we'll talk Cone Gate, and whatever else comes up.
Cone Gate. I want to get right into it right now, man. This is good stuff, but we'll leave that for next week. We'll get it on the schedule next week, guys. Thanks. We're seeing all kinds of chatter coming through here, actually. People excited about that, it looks like. But we've got ODZ jumping in here with Matt Johnson saying, thanks, Greg and Nathan. Want more race? I want more races with segments. We're hearing from Claudia as well. Takes more than 3 draft riders to stop me, Steve Young, with a little bit of chatter in there as well. I love the back and forth here between the teams. Krista Mintz hanging out here. Good to see Krista jumping in here. Looking through, Chris also letting us know that Cone Gate is a thing. So, and this is the best comment of the day here. Adam got AT&T'd. That's the new team out on course here. Sponsored by, now if you get sponsored by AT&T, you can take out at least half the pack then. I mean, just no big deal. They'll just turn off the service altogether.
Yeah, I was convinced that this was the first instance of a DDoS hack used to take a rider out of the group. Kind of the equivalent of putting someone in the gutter in a real race.
The DDoSing is actually that was such perfect timing. Actually, it almost did look like a DDoS. Actually, it did look like it was almost intent. Like I thought for sure he was removed for his watts per kilogram or something. Because it was so perfectly timed on when he was going crazy hard, actually. So pretty amazing. In the last second, we're seeing Adam say, my OS decided to do a carrier update in the last second. That is the worst timing you could possibly have there, Adam. But sorry to hear. It was a solid finish. You had it no problem. You had it by like 3 bike lengths easily, man. So we'll put it in the replay, perhaps in our update. We're going to do a little bit of video on the racing so far this week, so that'll be out pretty soon. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Great job to all the racers out there. Sorry we missed the B and the C category. We lost the feed there for them, but it does look like we could do a quick little shout out to them though as to how the results went down on the B category so far. Jocko Storm still storming to the front of that race. Actually, Clive King, good to see him out there, takes down second place. Looks like Andy Davies, Tony Axelson, and then Malcolm Walcott there running out 5th place there. Wanjo Ferris in the C category taking the W. Otto Jomberg 2nd place. McCallum Nilsson, and then it will be Ibro Kagel, and then Martin Blomberg. That's running out the top 5 in that C category. The D category still out on course, it looks like, and finishing up, it looks like it is going to be Tobias Edenius holding on to 1st place by about 16 seconds over Andrew Padkin if he doesn't close things down. Martin Jordvik is out there, the series organizer, sitting in 3rd place solidly with that snail emoji next to his name, actually. So that is his spirit animal here. Arne Stahlheim and Alice Palanis are holding down a solid group of chasers there that they're going to be right along with Thomas Zawadzki. Rounding out for that somewhere between 4th through 6th place. So, all right, Greg, that's it for us today. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow. I won't be back, but Jesper will be back tomorrow for KISS Europe, and we will be adding a new race next Tuesday. I heard that there's a cool draft race. We'll have to see how things are going on. Ooh. What's going on with that cool draft race. But if you got any other suggestions about races that are out there, always races or events that you would like covered, ideas about things to be covered in the community, Make sure to contact us at Zwift Community Live. We will do our best, if it makes sense, for the live shows to cover them. If there's a race that you think has a lot of attention, a lot of riders, as well as a cool vibe, let us know. We're always open to covering more for the community. Greg, thanks for joining. Appreciate it, as always.
Thank you. Thanks, Nathan. Congratulations, Adam.
Yeah. Congratulations. Did he get the congratulations, Adam. Team draft. Throwing it out there. I love it. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. As always, right on.